A very good morning to you. How are you doing? It's another beautiful Thursday morning. Every Thursday on Jan 316, we have the Relationship Clinic where we discuss issues that have to do with relationship. Today, we're going to be talking about blended families, understanding blended families, the dynamics of a blended families. What are some of the things you need to consider before getting together to be part of a blended family? What are the joys of a blended family? Interesting. I was asking a question earlier on my radio show, which I'm going to throw your way yet again. Question is, would you consider getting married to somebody who already has children from a previous relationship? Would you? Several SMSs already coming in. There's one that says, yes, yes, yes. It's my dream to be married into a family. Reason being, I love children and I always wanted a big family and I have one big child already. So yes, 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 we have a God of second chances. Would you consider getting married to someone who already has children from a previous relationship? Give me your input on SMS 20316, WhatsApp 0786 316 316, and then we'll get into the discussion on blended families, what you need to know and what you need to consider before you become part of a blended family. It is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. Relationship Clinic is what we have on Thursdays. Today we want to have a discussion talking about blended families, and I'm being joined on Zoom by Jackie Care. Jackie Care is the founder of Blended Families Network. Jackie, how are you doing?
Hi.
Good to see you. Good to have you on board this morning. Karibu sana.
Thank you. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Wakenya wanakusikia.
Ah! Why did you tell me?
Wakenya wanakusikia na Wakenya wanakuona kwa runinga.
Awesome.
Great. So
Thank
maybe
you for the invite, yeah.
Maybe we can begin by just defining what is a blended family.
A blended family is a family that the adults in the couple in the relationship, one of them or both of them have a child or children from previous relationships. So there are families that have step parents and step children, step siblings relationship. Yes.
So that's what we consider a blended family. Somebody was asking, are the dynamics different in a blended family when you have, you can have a blended family because maybe you were married and your spouse died and then you remarried. Or you can have a blended family because you separated.
Yes.
And you get married again. So are the dynamics different where you have a spouse who died and this other one got married vis-a-vis the one where the spouse is still there but in another relationship as well? Are the dynamics different?
The dynamics are totally different. And some of us get into blended families because you see right now we are having a lot of early childhood pregnancies.
Very true.
Those kids will grow up, might not get married to the children or the people who got them pregnant.
Yeah.
They will have kids and they will form blended families. So blended families are formed because of several other dynamics that people don't consider. A blended family that is formed after death, the dynamics are totally different.
Okay.
As a step parent to that family, actually marrying a widow or widower is very challenging because your challenges are totally different.
Really?
When you get married, yes.
Okay.
Your challenges are different. And remember that your spouse's ex never goes away, dead or alive.
Oh,
so that is the common factor.
What do you mean they never go away?
They never go away because their children are in your family, their children are part of your relationship, so they'll never go away.
Okay.
So there are some of us in our step families that the exes of our husbands or our wives are alive and maybe co-parenting with our spouse.
Yeah.
But for some of us, the exes or the former spouses are dead. Though dead, the memory of this mama or the dad of my stepkids is very important.
Okay.
So we need to keep it alive. We need to still recognize that she or he, though dead, was a very significant part of our children's life.
I find that is interesting. I find it interesting you're saying we need to keep it alive. I'm thinking the natural thinking would be, don't keep it alive. They are dead, they are dead. How do you keep it alive?
by recognizing the significant days for, if it was their mother who is dead, or their father, recognize and celebrate, and just recognize the significant dates for their dead mother or their dead father.
Okay.
Their birthdays, their anniversaries, because though they may not be here, a bio parent is a very important part of a child's life.
Okay.
So that is how you keep the memories alive. If the pictures of this woman or this man are in the house, you can also work with these children and just form a collage, a nice collage for them, for the memories of their parent, and keep them safe for them. So that means, and also the children will know that you're actually respecting their dead parents' memory. Yes.
Okay.
You did not come to erase them.
I find that interesting. Doesn't somebody get to a place where you almost feel like you're competing with this other person who died?
Now, when you some actually feel like they're competing with their late wives or their husbands or their wives' late spouses. Yes. But it's not a competition because, and one only feels that it is a competition, especially when they're not secure with who they are.
Okay.
But if you're secure with who you are, then you know that you're here to live your life in a different way and as you. You cannot be like them and you cannot outshine them or win, because how will you know that you have already won? This person already ran their race and they are done. But also, it depends with your spouse. If you're married to a widow or a widower who constantly compares you to, my late wife would have, my late husband would have.
Yes.
She was not cooking like this. And in Africa, we actually never speak ill of the dead.
Yes, we don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anything they say about him or her is exceptionally good.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you compete that? The fact that nothing ill or their mistakes are never mentioned. So if you have a spouse also who compares you every time and insinuates that, so-and-so never used to cook like that. So-and-so never used to clean like that. Then that is a red flag, and that can make their spouse actually feel like they're in competition and they need to outdo or outshine your late wife or your late husband.
Okay. Is it possible to get to, when we talk about getting married to a widow or a widower, is it possible to get married to somebody who still hasn't finished mourning? And how does that affect the relationship?
Somebody who has not finished mourning, who is still in grief, or somebody who was divorced but has not healed. Hurt people.
Yes, hurt people.
Yes, and also somebody who is broken will only give you broken love. Yeah, they don't have that capacity to give you that healthy, emotionally healthy relationship that you desire. So it is important that actually, if you've gone through grief, you've gone through divorce, you've gone through this painful stuff that life at times throws to us, you actually have to fix yourself by seeking your healing. It is a painful part, but you need to heal before you replace it or think you can tie your wound with another relationship.
Okay.
Because at times the relationship also is just something that somebody feels like, okay, maybe it will heal me. But no relationship will heal you. You need to heal yourself and then get into a relationship. Otherwise, you'll be unfair to the spouse that you marry.
Yeah.
And you'll be unfair to the kids in that family.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a misconception. You tell me, but I'm kind of thinking that when I look at my parents' generation, there was a lot of blended families. Personally, I come from a blended family as well. And it seems like it was more acceptable. People are more accepting of blended families back in the day as people are today. Is that a correct judgment or is that a misconception?
I tend to think it's a misconception.
Okay.
Because
Nichanue.
Because what we had was polygamous family. A polygamous family has step relationships.
Yes.
It has stepmother, it has step sister, step brother. But mostly in a polygamous family, every woman takes care of their children.
Yes.
In fact, the person who does the rounds and moves around in every house is the man. In a step family, there are step parents who are not biologically related to these children, who are actually involved in a day-to-day decision and caring of the children.
So there's a difference between a polygamous family and a blended family. Okay.
A polygamous has step relationships, but every woman takes care of their children. No one is worried that nani atatesa mtoto wangu. In a blended family, this woman or this man is actually involved, some of them full-time, involved in the raising of the children.
Yes.
Others, maybe 3/4 of the year, are involved in the raising of the children. Others, quarter of the year, maybe.
Okay.
So depending on the custody arrangement and who has the custody of the child. So mostly you find that the negative stereotypes that we have about step families are actually, even in the storybooks, it was the stepmother,
the evil stepmother.
It was the stepmother, yes, the wicked one, the one who actually stays with that child every day. But if it is polygamous, it is the man who moves around. In blended families, what is unfortunate is actually it is the children who move around.
That is sad.
Today, today ataenda kwa mom, and tomorrow, next week, anaenda kwa dad. Today, you know?
Okay. That's an eye-opener right there. So, for that person who's considering being part of a blended family, umeonekaniwa, and this, you have children, or this person ambao umeonekaniwa has children, and you guys are thinking of getting together, getting married, what are some key things someone needs to consider before they become part of a blended family? You know, they say love is blind, but when you get married, you get healed. You begin to see usually the mistakes.
I think the first thing somebody needs to know is that it's not an easy path. It's a complicated path. And truth is, nobody actually says, you know, when I grow up, I want to be a stepmother. We all say when we grow up, we want to have that clean slate and we want to start life with our white wedding gowns. You know, everything just needs to be on a clean slate. But somehow life happens and some of us will get into blended families. And research has it that most children, as we go ahead, there are so many children who are going to be brought up in blended families. That is why it is so important that we actually work and really know what to do in blended families, because there are so many other adults that are going to come out from blended families. So the first thing you should know that it is not easy. It is complicated because it is different. And one thing that I always say is structure defines function.
Structure defines function. Explain.
I cannot use a fork to eat soup. The structure of the fork is meant for its function, and the structure of the soup spoon is meant for its function. So a blended family may not work the way the other nuclear families that have both bio parents work. I may be a mother in my blended family. I am a mother. I am a stepmother. So the things that I do and my authority and the authority I have in my house is not the same as the authority of the bio mother and bio kids have in their house. So as a blended family, you have to know what functions and roles you will do. The roles may look different from what you are brought up with, because when you're brought up in a both bio parent family. So my role as a mother may be so different from another bio mom in both bio parent family. But my structure is different and my functioning will be different. So the things I accept may be different. So first, know that the structure defines function. As a mother, you may have different roles than what you had. Limit or check your expectations, because at times you have unrealistic expectations. Just because you've met and just because they love you, they may not automatically love your children. You know this?
Yes.
He loves me. He loves my children.
Yes.
Or, oh, my children love her, so I will love her. Yes. So check your expectations. Are they unrealistic expectations? Do you have uncommunicated expectations? Some of us have expectations but don't see it. Uncommunicated expectation is me as a single mother expecting that because you have come into my life, James, you're going to play all the daddy duties, you're going to pay school fees, you're going to patiana shamba, you're going to do everything. And you might be coming in not actually ready to also do that.
Okay.
So there's uncommunicated expectations. You're not saying it, I'm not saying it. And then we end up fighting. So check your expectations. Prepare your children for step family.
Very important.
Talk about it. Yes. Talk about it with them. Age appropriately. Because most children wake up and find themselves step kids.
Yeah.
Uncle has just changed. Today,
Uncle has become daddy.
Kumuita dad.
Uncle ni daddy sahi. What happens, Jackie, when the children reject this person? You are head over heels, and now you're introducing this person to the children, and the children are thinking, hizo ni zenyu, sisi hizo hatuko.
Yeah.
How do you handle?
Rejection is part of the step family.
Wow.
Because every child would actually hope that their parents will get back together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if that is not their hope, there's the fear. Because, they also know about the Cinderella and Snow White, yeah? So they know.
Those stories messed
so
us
they're
up.
scared.
Those stories, I think, messed us
so
up.
They're also scared.
Yes.
I cannot be a stepchild. Oh, my God, I'm going to be a stepchild,
Oh, my goodness.
So that is why preparing your children for step family is when you talk about it, they can talk. You should have created an open environment, a safe environment for them to be able to converse and say their concerns and their fears. So their fears could be just the fact that they're scared to be step kids. Their fears could just be, oh my God, my family's history is going to change.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me one day in my history, when they talk about my history, this stranger is going to be part of it, especially as adults.
Yes. Those are important things.
So,
Okay.
So we need to address it as a bio parent, especially. Listen to their concerns and why they're rejecting that.
Do you have any questions for us this morning? We are talking about blended families, what you need to know. 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. It's 8:30. We are hanging out with Jackie Care, and we're also wanting to find out, are you part of a blended family? How has that worked out for you? In studio with me via Zoom, Jackie Care, the founder of Blended Families Network. Now, Jackie, there are a couple of questions coming in. One individual is asking what their role is as a child in this kind of a relationship. I'm assuming they're already an adult, and maybe their dad or their mom has gotten remarried, and so they are wondering, okay, what's my role in this relationship?
Okay. I think as a child, especially as an adult child, it can be different to adapt and also just wrap your head around the changes that your family is going through.
Yes.
And your family identity is going through, because it's going to change the identity of your family, which is okay. However, if you have an open conversation with your parent, especially the bio parent who is getting remarried, about the concerns that you are experiencing, about the challenges for you that you're experiencing, so that you unpack it and you can still have the relationship that you had, or a better relationship with your bio parent. Because a step parent is not there to replace your bio parent. Nobody can replace a bio parent, no matter how good they are, or no matter how much gifts they come with. Nobody can take the place.
There's something you love saying. I'm waiting for you to say it. You love saying there's nothing like an ex-dad or an ex-mom. And
ex-children.
Yes, and ex-children.
That was my ex-children. Yeah, they're never there. So a step parent is not there to actually replace your bio parent. But the other thing is that as children, we never look at our parents as human beings. You know, we think they're just mommy and daddy. We don't look at them as the woman and a man.
With needs.
Yes. Yeah, and with a life.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, you might get to a point that your mother, maybe it was after death or has been single for so long, and now decides they may want to get married or get companionship. So there's the part that as a child, you have to accept the humanness of your parent to make this decision. But if this decision is, you're feeling like, I don't think this is the right person. I wonder if, mommy, you have thought about A, B, C, D. As an adult child, you can talk about it.
Okay.
If there are things that you still want to keep intact for you, if, you know, especially as adult children, there's the inheritance matters that actually come in.
Yeah.
And you want that these properties and everything should just be ours. Talk about them. Even those difficult conversations of finances, land, talk about it and clear it.
I think that's one of the mistakes I have seen where blended families are concerned. A lot of assumptions are made. And, you know, these two people who are getting together and children are involved don't sit down to look at their relationship wholesomely and talk about different issues. How will we deal with the kids? How will we do this? How will we do this? And we expect that those things will work out. Or just like you were saying, assumptions. Now that I am married, ukikata ako kashamba, si hata huyu wangu atapata. And then when that time comes na hapati, it becomes an issue. But you never talked about it.
It becomes an issue.
Yes.
No.
There's another question here. It's more of a comment. I want to find out what you think about it. This one says, good morning, Pastor James. I am in one, married after losing my wife, and it's not easy. I'm surprised the guest says you can celebrate important days of the deceased. I don't, because that would be a source of conflict. I remarried after 10 years, and even though I think I've tried to work very hard to blend, you will always find an ugly head coming up. It's only by God's grace. Your thoughts?
Celebrating the death of a spouse is easier, especially for the children's sake.
Okay.
So when they have children, if they have children, I think that is a culture that they should have incorporated in their family. You know, without the fear that it will bring up, I don't, because it will bring up something that is negative. Let that something that is negative come up. And then now, with this negativity that has come up because I have said that this is what we should do, we can find a way to work around it. And these are some things that as a widower or a widow, there's some things that you can discuss even before, as you date and court. That this is how I would love us to live. This is how I would love my family to be, even after the death of my spouse. This is what the cultures that I would want to bring in my family. So I think that is a discussion that they should have, or somebody who is a widow today or widower, you should have with the person that you're going to marry. That these are some of the cultures I would want us to put in place. And then you can hear, you can hear if they resist or they can renegotiate or also bring up suggestions so that even as you do it, it's not awkward or it's not leaving a bad taste in anyone's mouth.
Okay.
Yes. But when you hold it back as a widow and you don't want to talk about it because of fear that it will bring up something ugly, then maybe every year that day reaches, you feel your feelings alone, but you're not saying it.
Wow.
So that is the first thing. And then about the ugly head coming up because of blended family. Blended families has a lot. It can be a bed of ugly head because the structure and the dynamics in that family make it susceptible for complex situations.
Okay.
So I don't think we should complain as such, but we should equip ourselves with the knowledge, skills, resources, attitudes that are ready for the complexities of the blended families when they crop up. So at times as a blended family, everything looks like it has blended.
And then
but just like juice,
Yes.
ukisha blend alafu iweke hapo chini, saa zingine blended juice,
Inaanza
saa
kuachana.
zingine inawachana. Does it mean that your juice ni mbaya?
No, you koroga it again.
Again, you koroga. You will not wake up one day and blend today and blend it once, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
So let us also be aware that this juice at times everything will go to their space. The mangoes sink, the carrots become rough. It is okay.
I like that.
It is okay. Yes.
Okay. Listen to this one from Jackie. Jackie in Umoja says, how do you go about explaining to children, especially teenagers, that they are going to be part of a blended family? And if they resist, what do you do? Teenagers, how do you explain to them?
I think teenagers is easier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think parents find it difficult because of the fear if they reject them.
Yes.
Hiyo ndo uoga. It's not that because it's difficult, it's because of you really, really, really want them to accept. Now, first things first. I don't know if there's a child who has ever been told that, you know what, I'm going to remarry, and they celebrate.
Yeah. We only see it in the movies.
Ni wachache sana pengine.
Yeah. So you have to be ready to deal. You have to be ready to deal with that.
Change is difficult. Not just the remarrying change. Change on its own for human beings, it's difficult.
It's difficult, yeah.
Yeah, and this child sits down and looks at the changes that are going to come to her, to their family, to their house. So this person is going to come to my house. This person is going to start living with me, or I might need to move. I might have siblings. I'm a lastborn now. I'm not a lastborn. I'm a firstborn. I'm not. Your birth position changes. The changes that will come to this child's life are so many. So they are bound to resist.
Okay.
Or be worried about it. But how do you tell them about it? How do you tell them that you're going to be part of this blended family? I think as parents, you need to introduce this person to them, maybe just as a good friend.
Yes.
I have a good friend that I would want you to meet, and just know. So it is gradual.
Yeah.
Not that I have somebody I want to marry. You gradually introduce them to this relationship.
Okay.
As a parent also, you have to make sure that it is a significant relationship that may be heading to marriage.
To marriage, yeah. You're not introducing.
Otherwise,
you're not introducing different people
every
to your
boyfriend.
children. Ay, my goodness.
No.
Listen to this message. This one says, "Hi, I am in a blended family. At first, I was even rejected by his children.
Yeah.
Even the 1 year old. I continued to embrace them, and they eventually came to love me. Now they are teenagers, and even one has already gotten married. But I must say it was tough, because to me I thought there was not going to be any acceptance because the mom had already died. But now we are doing so well. Exactly what you're saying. It's a progression.
Yes. It is a progress because, and one thing I always say, there are no instant parents. You don't have instant parents.
Yes.
Even the one that I give birth to, I have to wait 9 months to get them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are no instant parents. So you cannot get into a child's life and immediately think you're daddy, you're the father. You have to earn their place to look at you and say, this can be my mom, this can be my father.
I once had somebody say that if you're getting married to somebody with children, the same way you court them, you also have to court their children. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, because the people that we court first is the parents.
Yeah.
You have to court the children, but you have to allow the children to do things at their pace.
Yes, definitely.
Because we have different children. We have the talkative ones, we have the introverts, extroverts, different personalities. Some will totally like you, some will not like you.
Right, and they won't like it.
No.
Okay.
They will not like you.
We are hanging out with Jackie Kea, founder, Blended Families Network. We are talking about blended families. Your questions coming in on 20316, WhatsApp 0786 316 316. You have about 10 more minutes. Now, Miss Kia, hakuna instant parents. Instant ni shower peke yake. A couple of questions, Jackie, before we run out of time. There's the whole issue of discipline. This one seems to be a big one for quite a number of people. When it comes to a blended family, who should do the discipline?
And especially in Africa, where we think discipline ni kunyorosha watoto.
Yes.
But that is not the meaning of discipline.
Yes.
That is not the meaning of discipline anyway.
Yeah.
I always say correction without connection is deemed as punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Correction without connection is deemed as punishment.
Whether it's a blended family or not.
Anywhere.
Yes.
Even today, as an adult, if somebody that does not have connection with me comes and tells me, hey, Jackie, how could you put that necklace on your sweater, on that thing?
Yes.
I would not feel it anyway. But if somebody who is connected to me and we have a relationship comes and tells me, I don't think that goes with what you've worn, then I will remove this. So what does that mean? Between a step parent and a bio parent, the bio parent actually has more connection than the step parent. So the bio parent should be the chief disciplinarian, should be doing all these things. But am I saying that a step parent is a doormat? No. You are not a doormat.
Yeah.
As a couple, you need to have the values and the lessons and the things that you want to instill on your kids. So these values are not only instilled to Kiwacharaza. These values are instilled by the way we do things and how we do things in the house. And if you have kids who are big enough or who can have conversations, you have family meetings and talk to them about these are the rules, the basic rules of the house. The basic standard rules of the house. These basic standard rules work everywhere, even at workplace. Respect, being civil to each other. Those are some things that we need to instill to our kids. And as a family, also as the adults, we need to also practice them with our kids. As much as we are saying that there's some step parents who will not like you, yes, we are not saying liking is an option, loving is an option, but respect, being civil, we can talk, we can say good morning. Those are the basic skills that can build relationships anywhere. So as the parents of the house, you need to talk about the basic standard rules of the house, and these are the punishments if you don't obey these rules. When we have meetings and we say that, even when the child breaks these rules and they have to do a punishment or they have to be reprimanded, they know those were not step mom rules. They were not step parents rules. These are our family
rules.
Yes. But if a step parent comes and they are the Mr. Fix It or Miss Fix It.
The headmaster.
The rules, or the sheriff, and the rules that you make. This child knows these rules are never there. These are just step. Huyu ananitesa kwa sababu ni step parent wangu. Because these are just his rules and his way of doing things. So with time, step parents who connect with their stepchildren are able to still discipline. And discipline means they can tell them to stop something. You can tell them, you can coach them, you can guide them, you can talk to them about, you can direct them and they will hear.
I want to take you back to the whole issue of a spouse who died. Maybe you need to clarify what you're saying. There's a comment here. It says, good morning, James. I'm a widow. I disagree with the whole issue of celebrating the dead. The Bible tells us not to have a relationship with the dead, Ecclesiastes 9:5-6, and culture and Christianity should be distinct. Not all culture is biblical. So when you're talking about, remembering, celebrating, what exactly do you mean?
Now, I think from that comment, I don't think that is a blended issue. For him, whether it's blended or not blended, it should not be celebrated. And I respect that. So that is not a blended concern. That whether it is blended or not, you should not celebrate the dead. So that I get it. However, for those who want to instill and have the memory of their dead spouse, or the mother to their children, or the father to their children. Anniversaries, like their death anniversaries, they can celebrate them. They can have the special lunch, they can have a mass, they can have a service, they can have a prayer, they can have tea, and just have a memory commemorating
So it's
the mother
basically
or
just
their father.
remembering.
It's just basically remembering
Yeah.
the way that
Because I know
even
this is-
today
I know
we
this is
have,
a dicey
we
issue.
have people.
Yes, yes.
Even today we have people who do that.
Okay.
Not necessarily blended or not blended. There are
Okay.
people who still have memory service in memory of their dead, and there are people who don't have.
Okay.
So each one to choose what really works for them.
Works for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Jackie, I have like a minute. What would your parting shot be? And maybe you can include this in your parting shot, because there seems like there's a stigma, a negativity connotation where blended families are concerned. But I know blended families that thrive and work, and man, everybody is just feeling this thing is good. So maybe say something about that as you give us your parting shot.
There's a lot of stigma, yes, around blended families. There's a lot of burying our heads in the sand about the existence of step families. Yet, the truth is, step families are here with us.
Yeah.
And step families, like any family, our main objective or mission is to create healthy relationships with our children, and also bring up children who will be better citizens, better human beings in future.
Okay.
And if I don't do that, if I don't bring up a healthy, emotionally strong child from my blended family, then your child from your both bio parents family will not be safe. So we need to support each other and stop the negative stereotype, support each other, and know that at the end of the day, the children that we are bringing up in the different families that we have are still going to be citizens, and are going to meet and are going to relate.
Okay.
So you need to support me and know that I am here bringing up my children, and I need to support you also.
Yeah.
So that you bring up your children well, yes.
Okay.
And blended families are complex, but are workable. Okay.
So, how can people get in touch with you? Do you have social media pages, handles that people can interact with you more in case they have more questions, they want to find out more information about blended families?
I have a Facebook page for blended families. It's called the Blended Family Network. You can find me on Facebook on Jackie Care. Instagram, I am at Coach Jackie Care.
Okay. Jackie, asante sana. We appreciate your company this morning and your insight. Uzidi kubarikiwa. Mama Mbula received the SMS. Mama Mbula is saying, we are not celebrating the dead. It is to help the children continue to heal. I still celebrate my mom and it helps me to heal. Well, I know that's a dicey issue for a lot of people. But Jackie, thank you. I'm out of time for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope our conversation has been beneficial to you.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.